Information technology.
Coming up, we'll discuss how the country is grooming our young ones to become the next Bill Gates.
That and so much more right after these messages. Welcome back to The Breakfast Show. Now, there's been a lot of talk in Malaysia about the shift to a knowledge-based economy to achieve, of course, the vision of becoming a developed nation by the year 2020.
The most significant step made was the launch of the multimedia super corridor back in '96, but just how much have we moved ahead in the areas of information and communications technology?
There have, of course, been various challenges along the way, a major one being the lack of skilled ICT professionals.
So to address this issue, this morning we are talking to the President of Multimedia University, Professor Zaharin Yusoff. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, Professor.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
You know what? You dress the part as well. I like professors who dress the part.
With a bow tie.
Yeah, with a bow tie.
Oh, that's probably because I can't tie a tie.
Honestly.
And you know how to tie a bow tie? Or is it
No, it's a hook on. Look on this.
No time for this things.
Yeah,
It's all aesthetics. We got to get down to the nitty gritty, which is, of course, we're talking about, education in Malaysia, and, providing ICT skilled labor. How have we come? How far are we along this journey?
We actually started off very well. In fact, Malaysia was one of the first countries to ride on the wave of IT, late 89, early 90s and whatnot. In fact, one of the best things that ever happened was the MSC, Multimedia Super Corridor.
Right.
And
we were just saying earlier that it's now the multimedia stalled corridor. Is that true?
It's quite dusty.
I don't want to say that. No, I live there. So,
Okay.
Anyway, you have the flagship applications, telemedicine, smart school and all that.
Yeah.
Then it has spawned quite a number of companies and created a lot of jobs, and we have exports. But I guess it was, we were moving a bit fast.
Right.
A bit too fast.
Got ahead of ourselves.
Got ahead of ourselves, and I think that was one of the things you mentioned earlier, that we may not have been ready with the manpower, the ICT manpower, in terms of numbers, not even numbers, but most of all in terms of depth.
Right.
So herein comes the problem.
Right.
And that particular time as well, there was a lot of hype. Everyone wanted to be IT.
Yeah.
So we have this proliferation of programs,
Right.
IT programs. We have this program, that program, and even some programs of what I sometimes call the Bachelor of PowerPoint.
Right.
And the graduates get obsolete even before they graduate, I mean the students.
Right.
How so? Explain how that happens.
Well, you see, when everyone wants to be IT,
Right.
so there's a major demand. So then when there's demand, there will be programs.
Yeah.
So you have the serious ones, but you have the, fly-by-night.
Right, because they probably don't hire the proper qualified people to actually teach. Because there's not enough people.
Yes,
there's no
not
supply.
enough people.
Yeah.
There are not enough to supply.
And
So-
how many of our graduates actually stay in Malaysia as opposed to taking their skills outside?
Abroad.
Actually, many stay in Malaysia. But as I was mentioning, we had actually a problem of about 15 years when there was these programs which were not doing the proper thing. And then we had actually a large number of unemployed ICT graduates.
Right.
That was
Well,
the
they're
problem.
termed ICT graduates, but because of the structure of these fly-by-night schools, they eventually more or less wasted their time in these courses and not really learning anything.
Not really employable.
Right,
That's the
right.
main
Yeah, that's the main thing, right?
In fact, at a certain stage, we had 15 to 20,000 unemployed ICT graduates. But at the same time, we had 15 to 20,000 vacancies.
Right. So there's a void, but there are people here that cannot match the job descriptions because they don't fulfill the needs. So what can these group of people do if they got caught up in this fad at that time? What can you do now? They've got a degree, they've spent the money, but now they're unemployable, or they can't be hired because apparently they don't have the proper skills. Yeah.
apart from selling nasi lemak.
Or creating apps.
Yeah.
No, the MDEC is a program that has the graduate retooling program.
Okay.
But that's short term. There are ways of doing things. But before then, there's also this problem of, you see, when we had this unemployment, higher level of unemployment, so the media also came in and said, don't do ICT, because there are no jobs for you. And yet, at the same time, there are lots of jobs. So now what we are facing is that there are not that many, actually the numbers, the enrollment is getting lower and lower.
Okay, it's decreasing.
It's decreasing.
What are they moving towards to? I mean, what are the students now moving towards? So if not ICT, what are they choosing? More conventional ones?
Management, mainly. Management. Well, the standard engineering, law, and all those are pretty standard. But in the early 90s, there was a major queue for
Yes,
ICT.
I remember.
Yes, and but that's gone down. But that doesn't mean that ICT is wrong. It's just the way we have been doing things. It should change. In fact, this is what we are trying to do now.
So how are we changing this? How are we remedying the problem?
To begin with, the Majlis Dekan ICT, the Council of Deans of especially the public universities, got together. They say, let's reboot the program. Start over again, and let's say,
nice choice of words there.
Then offer actually computing. Those are the fundamentals. So that's the first thing to be done. In fact, we are doing it now. And then, but most of all, well, there's an interest group with the deans, together with PICOM, Mampu, and all that. We all got together, and we are proposing something longer term. So apart from the curriculum, we are proposing also to the government to actually lay some more fundamentals at the secondary school. But most of all, and this is to do with trying to get us to be a producer nation in IT, we have to do more focused research and development in particular areas where no one's there. There are certain areas which...
Well, this is regards to the universities doing the research, or is it the private sector?
It should be together, because universities can begin from the concept up to a certain prototype.
The implementation
has to be. And then you need the industry to come in. And we have to find a niche. I'm talking software here. I'm not talking about telecommunications or whatnot. Because, you know, India has been very, very strong with this. They took advantage of it. We didn't. So we have to do this now. We have to find certain focus areas. In fact, we have some ideas of what focus areas, the focus areas are. And then the universities and industry should focus on this.
So are there a lot of partnerships between private sectors and universities to help bridge this gap between? Because it seems to me like there was this lack of communication between the tertiary education industry and the private sector, because this is what we need, but we are not churning out the kind of graduates that they need. So hence there was the problem. So do you think that communication was one of the issues?
There is communication, but don't forget, actually both parties were caught up. And then while others were producing things, we were into this hype. But I hope this is temporary. So the thing is, we now have to do something.
So once the strategy is in place, and say it works, what are some of the outcomes that we can expect?
Well, certainly we're looking for the right graduates, the right graduates with certain competencies, with the fundamentals which are independent of certain applications. That means we can last very long. I think that's the main thing. And perhaps to ensure that certain things, i.e. the areas that we work on, really can be sustained. Perhaps even small boutique universities should come up. Particularly working on the export areas in ICT.
Okay. But Professor, we have you here on set with us, and you're president of the university, but we've talked about the bigger picture. But I suppose let's just break it down for our viewers. If, say, a young person watching today wanted to pursue a career in ICT, what then would be the job prospects? What could they go out and do? Who could they work for?
Okay, there are many industries in Malaysia. So one of those things, which is what has been happening all along, is that the graduates actually service the other industries, be it transport, tourism, and all that. So there are certain skills that are needed there. But most of all, we also want to try to build our own expertise, actually to build our own IT industry. Be a producer in IT industry, not just servicing the other.
Okay.
Right.
But the servicing the other industries is really needed.
Yeah.
It's really needed. It's
There's
about
always
80%, 85%. We can't stop that.
Now, okay, bringing it back one notch, let's say they know that they want to go into ICT, or they're toying with the idea of exploring this as a career for their life. What do they have to look out these days, you know, in a curriculum for the universities out there when they go out, you know, searching for a right course, a right university? What should they look out for?
Computer sciences,
Right.
within which you have all this artificial intelligence,
Right.
power computing, those kind of things. It's computing.
Right.
I think we have to drop some of those jazzy, fancy names,
Right.
which I shouldn't mention. But yeah, computing.
Okay.
Those are the fundamentals, and then build from there.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Professor, for being
you,
here this
Professor.
morning. Of course, if you'd like more information, I believe the university's website is www.mmu.edu.my.
So now all our kids can become the next Steve Jobs, Bill Gates.
Yeah.
No, MMU students first.
MMU students first.
MMU
Okay,
students first.
be MMU students, and you can be the next Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. Last I remember, I don't think Bill Gates went to university.
Yeah, I know. Neither did what's his face
Steve
at
Jobs.
Facebook. Yeah.